Hello, everyone. The purpose of this brief video is to show you some overall principles for content presentation, formerly known as course design, in the online classroom. It was created based on the CVC-OEI rubric for online courses with content from Zaretta Hammond with a special attention paid to equity. So the goals of content presentation in any class you create are the following: to help onboard students into your course by providing an orientation, which does a few things. It helps to welcome them into your course, and it helps them to practice and use the technology that you are going to have them use throughout your course. Another goal is to make it easy for students to navigate. Do they know what they're supposed to do? Do they know when? Do they know how? To eliminate any unnecessary barriers based on technology and content, and then also to weave in the other areas such as interaction, assessment, and accessibility, including attention paid to overall universal design. So if we're looking at your class overall, so we're looking at the overall structure of what it is you're doing, it's critical to keep these things in mind. It is super helpful to include a homepage for students. The reason for that is that a homepage lets students know where they can receive support for your content area, for the school, information about office hours, and any key things that they need to know to be successful in your class for each of your units, as well as a place that says start here or get started with this particular module. So it is brief, it's to the point, it's welcoming, and you can keep the homepage throughout your entire course, or you can change it every week or every unit. It's up to you. But it does help students understand where they're supposed to start. A good tip is to make sure that your homepage is actually located at the top of each of your modules, because when students are on their smartphones, they will only see your modules. So if you have that homepage at the very top, they will actually be able to see that homepage and make sure they're in the right place. The second thing that I want to talk about are unit or weekly modules. So when students are going to be doing the activities, the assessments, formative and summative in your class, they need to be organized and chunked. So some professors choose to do whole unit modules. That's what I do, but that's not the best for everybody. I have, usually about 3-week units. They're all on a single module, and I have it organized by dates. Other professors decide that they want to do weekly modules and organize everything students need to do in one chunk, and they decide that they're going to have things due at a particular time regularly. Whatever you choose, whether it be unit or weekly modules, the important thing is to make them consistent so that students understand when they're supposed to be doing their work and when they should be submitting it. Another key aspect to the overall structure of your courses is a unit overview or a roadmap. That is a page that lets students know, okay, for this unit or for this week, these are the things that you need to get done and focus in on. The final thing to think about in your overall structure is allowing time and space for students to give you anonymous feedback. This anonymous feedback will help you improve your structure, and it gives students a place for them to let you know what they understand and what they don't, so that you can update and change things. And a lot of times, this anonymous feedback is about something small on one little assignment. Sometimes it's about something bigger that you may want to write down and change at the end of the semester before the next one begins. All right, so we talked about the overall structure of your class, but let's zero in to your lesson structure. Okay, so you're giving a lesson, they have an assignment or set of assignments to do. What should you include in that for the online student? The first thing to make sure that you include are your SLOs and or goals for that particular assignment. Some content areas have broad goals or SLOs, and so you're going to want to narrow it down to what you want students to be able to do. Other content areas have very discrete SLOs that are written more like individual small goals. So you would include those there. So the question that I always ask myself as I go through and I check my structure is, do I include the student learning outcomes or goals for each activity? This is critical and key and important, and it also keeps you on task. In addition to keeping the students on task, keeps you on task and makes sure that what you're doing is helping to meet your course goals. The next thing to consider is multimodality. So we're talking about text plus visuals, text plus video, text plus maybe an audio component. So do you use something other than just text to instruct students, such as visuals and or videos? The next thing to keep in mind in terms of your lesson structure are the tasks. Do you scaffold the tasks? Do you use headers and bullets and numbers to chunk your materials? This is really important. Many times I've seen assignments where everything is written in paragraph form, and it takes a long time for students to figure out what they're supposed to be doing. Taking a little bit of time to make sure that you are clear about, okay, you need to do this first, second, or next, finally, etc., as well as using headers and bullets so that students can quickly see what it is they're supposed to do. They do it, they go back and double check that they've done everything that you want them to do. And it's much faster and easier for students. It helps lower anxiety and helps it be clearer for them. And so that leads us to the idea or the question about clarity. Am I or are you clear about what you want students to produce? So you give them an assignment or you have a discussion forum. Do you have the discussion forum question there? That's great, but you also need to include the goals, the tasks, how many posts are they supposed to give, when, how long are they supposed to be, what is it supposed to look like? So are you clear about what you want them to produce? And do you provide examples? I am not asking for people to provide examples of necessarily the whole thing, although you can, but short little examples help students go, oh, this is what I'm supposed to do. So it's really important that you think about clarity and then replicate this as necessary. Furthermore, in terms of your lesson structure, what are you asking students to do in terms of their submission? Do you let students know how to actually turn in their work, that they're supposed to click on the start assignment? And what are you asking for? Are you asking for a text box, a URL, a file, a video? What are you asking for? And I also encourage teachers to think about allowing students to have alternative options for the ways that they show what they know. Can they do handwritten work that they scan and submit? Do you want them to type something? Can they do something in a video? Are there other ways for them to show the same sort of content and organize it so that it makes sense for them and you, so that they are actually learning in a way that makes the most sense? All right, the final thing in terms of lesson structure itself is, do you let students know how long something will take to complete it? In our heads, we know, and maybe even in our face-to-face classes, we let students know, okay, so this particular homework assignment is going to take about 20 minutes. This one's going to take 5. This one's going to take a couple of hours, and maybe you should dedicate 2 or 3 sittings to actually get it done. This time frame is extremely important for students so that they know how to plan their week and their time so that they can get what they need to get done for your class, their other classes, and their work and home life. Another important aspect for structure is making sure that you give opportunities for students to interact with one another and with you regularly. So a good way to think about it is making sure that there's at least one activity per week that includes interaction between peers. You don't need to have so many that they can't get them done, but keeping in mind that at least one will help them be able to collaborate with one another, check in with one another, learn and deepen their understanding, challenge their own assumptions. So it can be a discussion forum or something else, maybe a Padlet, maybe a collaborative Google Doc or slideshow. It could be a wiki page that you create on Canvas. It could be a number of different ways where they can collaborate with one another based on their own schedule. And it allows them and you to see if they understand the materials that you are helping them to learn. Another thing that I want to point out in terms of content presentation is the syllabus. This is such an important document, and it needs to be easy for students to locate, ideally linked in several different locations, such as your welcome letter that you send before class begins, in the orientation, and you can also include it elsewhere. Lots of different places so that students actually find the syllabus. The other question that I have for you specifically for online classes, is it digital and is it easy to read on a phone? It's important for students to actually be able to read the syllabus. So I highly encourage you to make it digital. You can use the syllabus function in Canvas. You can create a page in Canvas for your syllabus. You can use a Google site to create your syllabus. Whatever you choose, it should be digital, which means that it's on the computer, that it is something that it's easy for students to read on the phone. So I highly discourage you from using files and or PDFs, which means that they have to open something up. We don't want students to have to open something up. We want them to be able to click on it and easily read it. And if we place such importance on our syllabus, we need to make it easy for students to go back and take a look at throughout the semester. So I want to thank you for listening to this video if you've gotten this far. And I want to let you know that support for all of these things that I've talked about, including examples, are found in the online teaching resource Canvas site. And you are always welcome to contact one or more of the DE coordinators from our team. Thank you so much.